Let's try and get on with questions. It's going to be a long day if not.
The difficulty is how fragile democracy can be. You really need citizens to be engaged for the system to work.
Why do I think we don't have a voice? Money. When you've got money, you've got loads of voice.
The Brexit referendum has affected the way people think about politics currently in the UK.
Democracy is hugely important in our daily lives.
Democracy is something that changes all the time. It's been emerging and evolving in the UK over the centuries. If you think back all the way to Magna Carta, the Great Reform Act, women being enfranchised in the early 20th century, and it's continuing to change today. If you think of the referendum a few years ago on Brexit, that was a big change in our democracy. And it created actually quite a lot of tension about just how should our democracy work? What should the role of Parliament and government and the public and the courts be in our democratic process? And now's a really good time for us just to reflect on where do we want our democracy to be going in the future.
So a citizens' assembly basically brings together a randomly selected group of people that are selected to be broadly representative of, in this case, the UK. And they come together to really learn about a topic, engage in dialogue with each other and with the experts, before then going through that deliberative process that asks them to come to some collective conclusions.
My postman dropped my letter through the door. I saw Citizen Assembly. And I'm saying, is this for real? Because you got people going around doing fraud. I said, is this for real? So I said, okay, I don't want to send my detail out there, but I'm going to take a chance.
Yes, I really enjoyed it. I actually looked forward to it. I was amazed at some people's views. Some of them I disagreed with, some of them I agreed with.
It took place over a number of weekends. Each weekend had its own theme, with a different panel of experts all providing evidence to the assembly as a whole to digest. And then we would break out into our Zoom breakout groups and discuss all the things that we'd learned. And then there would be a number of sort of activities to help us formulate some initial ideas, which would then form into the ultimate recommendations.
We sort of initiated a set of rules ourselves to allow the open and honest dialogue without no abuse, etc., and freedom of speech and thought.
The whole principle was you can disagree, but we keep it polite, we keep it respectful, and that was really important, and I realised that's what is often missing in our political debate at the moment.
At the beginning, I tell them, I said, listen, I like when people use words that I understand, because I know you've got the well-educated people, but you have to remember the little people that's not so educated. So use words that we understand. And if you use words that we understand, we communicate better.
People's opinions on the committees were varied, and it was good to hear different opinions. And in actual fact, sometimes I actually changed my mind on some things, and I thought that person has got a good point. That does work, that would work.
We tackled a lot of issues. One of the strongest feelings was behind freedom of speech and people being allowed to demonstrate.
Whose future? Our future!
Because that is an aspect of British politics which has always been protected.
I felt particularly passionate about the recommendation about access to information because to be engaged in the process you have to understand it, you need to know how to contact your MP, you need to know how to participate. And my background as a librarian was very much about enabling people to get the information they need to be involved in whatever it is they want to be involved in.
My interest in politics in the UK was really sparked as a result of the Brexit referendum and everything that came off the back of that. So I was really interested to get people's views on the role of referenda going forward for the country as a whole, from a whole range of different perspectives that are different to mine.
The organisation of the Citizens' Assembly, they listen to the non-elites. If you have an organisation like that out there for people like me that will listen to me, then our voice will be heard.
A Citizens' Assembly should be assembled really every time there's a really important law to be passed and get the view of the public, not just the view of one party.
Last summer we started off the project by doing a really big survey of public opinion in the UK, and that showed two really big findings. First, people want politicians who are honest and act with integrity, and second, they don't want power to be too concentrated in the hands of just a few individuals at the top of the system. But through the Citizens' Assembly, we wanted to find out, well, how do they want to achieve these things? And the Assembly expressed that through 8 resolutions and then also 51 recommendations that give precise, detailed proposals as to how things should change.
Lying or intentionally misleading Parliament should be able to be identified as contempt of Parliament, as well as being made to give a public apology. MPs who break this rule should be fined or otherwise punished.
The use of referendums should be restricted to when there are clearly defined but contentious choices, where the consequences of the decision can be accurately set out in advance.
To allow for effective public participation in political debate and scrutiny, freedom of speech and the right to protest need to be protected.
Information on what is happening in Parliament and government should be freely available to all in a form that is concise, factual, accessible and unbiased. More work is needed so that people know where to look and can quickly find the information they want.
The deliberative process should be used to enhance local as well as national decision making, so that decisions are made that are informed by what local people want.
The members of the Citizens' Assembly worked incredibly hard to deliver this report, and they deserve now to be taken seriously. So we're working now to bring their proposals to policymakers in London, Edinburgh, Cardiff and Belfast. And my message to them is, listen to the members of the Citizens' Assembly. You don't have to agree with everything that they said, but listen to them and consider now what are your next steps.